Hello everybody, it's me, it's PokemonTripHD, and welcome back to some more Dragalia Lost content. And in today's video, we are going to be going over the Festival Phenoms Summon Showcase and my thoughts on whether you should pull or not. I'm basically going to also give an analysis on these units. It's going to be pretty in-depth analysis, and comparing them into the future of Dragalia Lost, and for High Jupiter, which should be coming out soon unless they release High Zodiac soon, because we're pretty much due for a new High Dragon trial at any time, really. So yeah, so that's kind of going to be what I keep in mind while I analyze these units. Now, I'm just going to answer the question, should you pull? My personal opinion, of course, this is all my opinion, I don't think you should pull. I do not believe you should pull. Why is that? Well, this banner lasts until the 10th of July. So if you are going to pull, I would recommend waiting until the last day to pull so you can see what the next banner will be. But I don't think you should pull because of the fact that you should have some good shadow units already. The only reason I would suggest that you do pull is if you have no shadow units. So if you don't have Eyasu, if you don't have Veronica, if you don't have Kuran, if you're missing those, then you don't have really any super strong shadow unit other than Botan, which you will get for free. You will get a very strong shadow unit in Botan for free. But of course, you're probably going to need more than one to clear Mercurial Gauntlet Light once it releases. So if you don't have any other good shadow unit, then okay, I could see you pulling. But at the same time, you need to keep in mind that we have the summer banner, and which is probably coming this month in July, or the Gala, which is also coming this month in July, as well as the first anniversary in a couple of months. So there are some big banners coming out soon. So you got to keep that all in mind when you're deciding to pull or not. Like I said, you're getting Botan for free. So if you only need one more Shadow Adventure, if you don't have Botan, you're going to get her for free. So don't stress too much about that. If you're looking for a Shadow Dragon and you don't have Marishiten, then okay, you could pull for Shinobi. Shinobi's actually a very good dragon, which I'll discuss, last. I just want to, just show off the pictures. Why not? Because they're all pretty cool. But I do think all these units are great. I just want to get that out of the way. They're all great. Only thing is that they are not limited. If they were limited, then yes, pull if you don't have any good shadows. But they are not limited, so you could always pull them at a later date or in the Dream Summon or whatever you want to do. You could always get them later. So even though they're great adventures and dragons, you can always get them later on in summons while you're chasing someone else. Like I said, if you don't have any good shadow units, though, then you could pull, and it wouldn't be a bad idea. Same with dragons. If you're missing a 5-star shadow dragon, you could pull, and it could be a great idea. But again, I would recommend you don't, since they are not limited, and we have a very nice selection of limited banners coming up soon. So those are the things you have to keep in mind. Now let's actually discuss the units and why I think they're actually really good. So like I said, the banner lasts about 10 days, a little over that. So let's discuss first Yatsen. He is a sword, not a blade. Don't let his picture fool you. He's a sword, not a blade. So it's kind of weird how he's a sword, but he's holding a blade in his picture. He even has, he has the blade sheath right there, and he's holding a blade, but he's a sword. So very interesting. He's an attacking unit, really high strength actually for a sword and an attacking unit. Well, not for an attacking, but for a sword, really high strength. His second skill just increases the team's energy levels by 2 stages. Alone, that's not a good skill, but when you combine it with his ability, which is Energize equals Strength plus 20%, and his other ability, Energy equals Strength and Crit Rate 3. This increases his Strength and Crit Rate the higher he's energized, up to a maximum of Strength plus 20% and Crit Rate plus 8%. So those things kept in mind, then this is actually a good skill, and it increases the entire team's energy levels, not just his, so it's even better than that. First skill is kind of like a, if he's energized, it's going to be upgraded, and it's also going to get a 50% boost. When you're energized, you have 5 energy levels. Your next skill is going to be boosted by 50% damage. So this is going to be boosted by, I would assume, maybe double, maybe 75% the normal once this is completely maxed out. And that is insane burst damage. Most of his damage is probably going to come from that energized attacking skill. So he would personally work great for Shinobi. Maybe I should talk about Shinobi first, because Shinobi's kind of play into these things that I talk about. So maybe I should do that. I'll do that right after this. So if you don't know what Shinobi does, it's strength plus 20% and skill damage plus 70%. So only for Shadow Adventures, of course. So it's just something to keep in mind. So his first skill, like I said, it's really high burst damage, which is really nice. He has a lot of potential to do a lot of DPS, depending on what the SP costs are of these two skills, and also what the damage is on these two skills, or on the first skill, the one skill. If it's really good damage and low SP cost, he could cycle through his skills really quick, have a good uptime on his energy levels, and it could be really, really strong as an adventurer. Of course, he is a sword adventurer, which means he plays off of 4 strikes, meaning that he would prefer a full strength dragon like Marishiten rather than, skill damage up like Shinobi. But I think Shinobi will work almost as well. But again, it's just if you're looking for 4 strikes, then Marishiten will be better because, of course, you're losing 40% strength on your 4 strikes if you're using Shinobi. So if you're just looking for straight damage, Shinobi might actually be better. But if you're looking for good 4 strikes to break the boss faster, then you're going to want to run Marishiten, mainly for that 60% strength. Now let's actually talk about Shinobi. We'll leave Natalie for last because I have a lot to say about her. So Shinobi is our new Shadow Dragon. He's basically just a Gilgamesh reskin, but we'll let it fly because he's a really nice Gilgamesh reskin. He looks really cool. He's a ninja. I don't know why when I see Shinobi, I thought Aoi Bride, which I don't know why. Maybe they're connected in some way, but Aoi is, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, let's not talk about this. Let's not talk about Aoi. I'm sorry, Shinobi. You're not Aoi. You're much cooler than Aoi, but Aoi is so much cuter. I'm sorry, Shinobi. Okay, let's not talk about that no more. No more of that. So Shinobi, I'll show you what a ninja can do. He looks really cool. His design is awesome, but how does he actually fare? Well, let's talk about his abilities first of all. His abilities, strength plus 20% and skill damage plus 70%. This is good for any adventurer which has his damage making up at least around 50% of his damage. If his skills make up for around 50% of his damage total, then Shinobi will be good. Shinobi will be preferred for that adventurer. So just a few off the top of my head that this is going to work better for would be Ieyasu, Botown, and Veronica. There's definitely more that this works for, but those are the 3 off the top of my head that Shinobi would work great for. Again, it's skill damage plus 70%, meaning bleed is also increased damage with this. The bleed ticks are based off of your skill damage, so this is also going to raise that up. So it's just an increased damage for all your skills, and it's really nice. Of course, you're missing out on 4 strike damaging by 40%, so you're not going to break as fast as your with your 4 strikes as you would if you had a Marishiten. Keep in mind, Marishiten also bleeds, but there's something known as diminishing returns when it comes to bleeds, which when you have 2 bleed units, that's probably the maximum you should run because of course, you can only stack a maximum of 3 bleed stacks onto your target. So if you have 3 bleed units, I can't even speak, then of course you cannot stack more than that. And usually you should be able to get 3 bleed stacks with 2 units. You could even probably do it with 1 unit. Like, I don't know, you can even do it with 1 unit depending on how fast your skill haste is and all this stuff. But once you get into 3 bleed units on the same team, you start getting diminishing returns, meaning that bleed will be not as prominent as if you had only 2 units. I don't know if that makes sense how I explained it. I explained it pretty bad, but basically your bleed won't get as much worth when you have 3 or more adventurers using bleed. So 2 bleed adventurers is the most you should have, if that makes sense, because you can only get 3 stacks maximum. So that is something to keep in mind. Again, Marishiten also does bleed, so that's another bleed diminishing return that is possible. While this guy does not have bleed, he actually has a skill which energizes the entire team, which is really, really good. Increases DPS a lot for the entire team. Again, that's 50% up on your next attacking skill or 50% up on your next healing skill that you use. So it's really, really good for that. Again, he works really well for mainly Ieyasu, Botan, and Veronica. There's a couple others. If you want to check the values, check the DPS calc for Dragalia Lost. Shinobi is a great dragon. Is he better than Marishiten? Like I said, for those adventures, he actually is better than Marishiten. He's also not limited like Marishiten is, so he's probably going to be more easily available. Again, if you have Marishiten maxed out, don't pull for Shinobi. It's going to waste a lot of war mice, so it's really not worth it at that point. But if you do have both of them max and binded, then Shinobi will probably be the best bet for most adventurers, to be honest. So just something to keep in mind. Again, Shinobi is a great dragon. Marishiten is also a great dragon, but Shinobi just is a little bit stronger for certain adventures. So yeah, that's my analysis on Shinobi. Again, he's really good, but again, you miss out on some 4 strikes, and if you already have Marishiten, I would not recommend pulling for him. I would only recommend pulling for him if you don't have Marishiten and you really need a Shadow Dragon. Now let's actually talk about Natalie. Natalie's a blade. Her competition is fierce. She has to compete with Ieyasu, whereas, of course, Yaten only needs to compete with Berserker and Rodrigo, and he's definitely going to be better than Berserker and Rodrigo. But Natalie has to compete with one of the best units, one of the best DPS units in the game with Ieyasu. So her strength actually matches Ieyasu at 521, which is absolutely mind-blowing. That is the highest strength in the game currently. So she matches Ieyasu with that, which is really nice. She's off to a strong start. And let's actually talk about her abilities first. Of course, she has co-ability strength. There's no different co-abilities between these two adventures. There's also no 4-star adventures, which is a little bit sucky, you know. So if you're looking to pull a 4-star, they might not even be able to pull a 4-star here because there probably won't be any new ones. Even in the video shown on the official Twitter account, there is no new 4-stars. So that's kind of meh. Of course, we might get Sazanka and the other Eastern Emissaries people back with this. But yeah, anyways. So her abilities, of course, extra energy. It grants an 80% chance that the user's energy level will increase by an additional stage upon being increased, which is nice, but nothing too crazy. Para-res, again, they both have para-res, her and Yatsen, which means they will be good for High Jupiter once that releases. HP below 30% equals strength and attack rate 3. Increases strength by 20% and attack rate by 10% when HP is 30% or below. That may not seem too great because why would you want to be at 30% or below? But when you look at both of her skills, the first skill deals more damage the lower her HP is, which is really nice, and increases her energy level by 1 stage. Again, this skill is actually really, really good because it goes by so fast. I'll try showing a clip right now of how quickly she can use it. Again, the video is on the official Twitter account. It's also on YouTube, on Nintendo Mobile, I think, or something like that. So you can check it out. But this skill goes by so fast, and it's ridiculous. If you remember Veronica's skill where her damage increases the lower HP is, this skill is going to do even more damage when she's on lower HP. And it goes by so quick, so you can just boom, boom, boom. You know, you have a great uptime. You're just swinging through all your moves, and you can get a lot of damage in, which is really, really nice on her. Next, she has Clean Slate, which is a really interesting skill, actually. Removes all debuffs from the user, which is really nice. And then if the user's HP is below 30% of max HP when using this skill, increases the user's strength by 15% for 10 seconds. So you get strength increase for only 10 seconds, not too much, but again, it's kind of meh. But when you're above 30% HP, it's going to bring your HP down to 20% and give you a one-use shield that stacks with other shields that blocks 80% of your maximum HP. Which is just wow. Again, there's really no reason not to use this skill whenever you have it available. It's going to either put you in range so that you can get, you know, your ability, your last ability. It's going to put to work and you deal a lot of damage, or it's going to give you strength up, which is again nice. It's never a bad idea to get strength up. If both of these skills have low SP cost, she is going to be absolutely insane. Being able to cycle through these skills, stay at a low amount of HP, and deal a ton of damage. I think when she's at low HP, when she's under 30%, I think she will be the best shadow DPS in the game. Maybe even the best DPS in the game, to be completely honest. She will be absolutely insane when she's below 30% HP. But the problem is it's going to be hard to keep her alive when she's at low HP. Again, she does get a shield using the second skill, and the shield does stack with other shields, which is really nice. I think that's the first shield we ever had that stacks. But it's going to be too hard to keep her alive. If you're playing High Jupiter, there's probably going to be unavoidable attacks, unless it's just a straight up DPS check like High Mercury was, which I really hope not. That was a big disappointment. Then it's going to be hard to keep her alive. You're probably going to need to run a healer. The healer is probably going to heal her up, and then, she wants to be low though, and blah, 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 blah. So it's going to be kind of conflicting there. Of course, Heinwald is the healer for Shadow at the moment, and Heinwald is kind of like a DPS healer, so it's really interesting. But there are kind of some clashes when you're using her. Again, there's such thing as diminishing returns for bleeds. So if you're running, say, Ieyasu and Botan, for your third adventure could be Natalie. Then you run a healer, of course. So that could be your squad, or just run 4 Shadow Adventures. I don't know, but that could be your squad. Who knows once High Jupiter's actually released how useful she will be. Also, I just realized her name is Natalie. That's a really English name. What if you had a Jessica in Dragalia Lost? Imagine a Jessica. Imagine a Stacy. Oh my goodness. But anyways, okay, that's a little bit off topic. So I think when she's low on HP, she will be the best DPS in Shadow, better than bleed units. But the problem is, like I said, to keep her low HP while staying alive is going to be hard. She's going to have a really, really tough learning curve, if that's the word, to be able to use her well. But I think if you can master her at low HP and not get hit and die, then I think she would be really, really strong. But again, I think it's going to be really, really difficult to use her at low HP and stay alive with the healers and blah, 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 blah. So I think overall, I think her average DPS will be lower than bleed units like Botan and Ieyasu. But I think she will be, close behind them, on average. But I think at her maximum potential, she will actually be better than both Ieyasu and Botan. At maximum potential, if she stays under 30% HP for most of the fight, because her strength plus 20% and attack rate plus 10% is just so strong. So yeah, those are my opinion on the units. Again, I think they're all really, really good, but I think if you have good Shadow units already, you don't need these guys at all. Because remember, there's no endgame content released right now that you need Shadow, and once there is, you're probably not going to need super maxed out units in like super, I don't know what the word is, 100% like maxed out units like Natalie or whatever to win. If you have an Eyasu, that's more than plenty. If you have a Kuran, that's more than enough to clear it with your DPS units. So I wouldn't stress too much about pulling for them if you do have good shadow units. However, if you're new to the game and you need some shadow units, this would be a great time to pull. Again, the Eastern Emissaries people should be on this banner, even though they just had a rerun, which is kind of weird. They're really shoving Eastern Emissaries down our throat, huh? But I do think that this would be a great banner to summon on if you need some shadow units. But again, like I said, if you have Veronica, if you have Kuran, if you have Eyasu, I don't think it's really worth it to summon on this. Maybe you want to summon for Shinobi, then it would be okay. But again, we have some nice limited banners coming eventually, and these are not limited units, so you could always pull them in the future. So again, I don't think you should summon. That was my analysis on these units. Thank you guys so much for watching. What do you think? Remember, check out the DPS calc once these units are actually released, and you could see how they fare. If I was wrong in any of my calculations, you could see it there and tell me in the comments. Yell at me, tell me, Trip, you're stupid. And I'll be like, I'm so sorry. So yeah, that's kind of everything. That was really weird. I'm just going to end the video before I make this even more awkward. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, hope you guys have a great day. Have a great week. And until next time, have a nice trip.